Law of diminishing marginal utility. Introduction. This law was proposed by Professor Gaussen but was discussed in detail by Professor Alfred Marshall in his books Principles of Economics, published in 1890. Statement of the law. According to Alfred Marshall, other things remaining constant, the additional benefit which a person derives from a given increase in stock of a thing diminishes with every increase in the stock that he already has. In simple words, the law explains that marginal utility goes on diminishing with an increase in the successive unit of a commodity consumed. Law of DMU. It can be graphically represented with the help of following schedule and diagram. Schedule. The table shows that marginal utility keeps on diminishing with increase in consumption. Further it becomes zero and then negative. As you can see in the above image, eating the first burger gives the consumer a lot of satisfaction, that is utility. Eating a second burger will not give as much extra satisfaction as the first did, so it is marginal utility. Eating a third burger will give even less extra satisfaction than eating the second one, so it is diminishing marginal utility. In the diagram, x-axis indicates units of commodity and y-axis indicates MU. MU curve slopes downwards from left to right. When a consumer consumes the fifth unit, MU becomes 0. It indicates full satisfaction level. It is called as the point of satiety. Beyond the point of satiety, further consumption of a commodity brings disutility. It is shown by negative marginal utility. Thus, it explains that marginal utility diminishes with every increase in the consumption of commodity. Assumption of Law of DMU. Keywords are given above. Kindly refer the same. Point number 1. Rationality. Consumer is assumed to be rational. It means that his behavior is normal and he tries to maximize his satisfaction. Producers or firms wish to maximize profits by producing at lowest cost the goods and services that are desired by consumer. In order for the law of DMU to apply, it is assumed that the consumer is rational and behaves normally. The aim of the consumer should be to maximize his satisfaction. Point number 2. Reasonability. All the units of commodity consumed are of reasonable size. The units of commodity consumed should be a standard or normal size. A consumer consumes only standard units of the commodity. For example, consuming the whole of an apple and not half of it. The units of commodity consumed should not be too small or too big. They should be normal standard size. Example, a cup of tea, a glass of water, etc. Point number 3. Single want. It is assumed that the commodity is used to satisfy only single want. If the commodity satisfies many wants, the law of DMU might not apply as the marginal utility will keep increasing. The consumer will keep using the commodity to satisfy his various wants. Utility is multi-purpose for some goods which satisfy a variety of wants. Here it is assumed that a commodity is used to satisfy only a single want to experience the law. Point number 4. Cardinal measurement. Utility is a psychological concept and therefore it is not measurable cardinally. However, for explaining the law of DMU, Professor Alfred Marshall assumed that utility can be measured cardinally, that is, it can be expressed in numbers. Utility can be measured in numbers so that it is possible to know and compare utility derived from each unit of a commodity. It helps to understand the law. Point number 5. Continuity. The law of DMU assumes that there is no gap between consumption of the units. That is, there is continuity in consumption. The unit should be consumed back to back. If there is a time gap in the consumption, the marginal utility will not diminish. The law is true only if the consumption is continuous. Example, 1 cup of tea in the morning and other in the evening may not be subject to the law of DMU. Point number 6. Constancy. It is assumed that the marginal utility of money remains constant throughout the period of consumption for the consumer. If the MU of money changes due to increase or decrease in income, then it cannot yield correct measurement of the marginal utility of the commodity. There must be no change in the income, taste, habits, etc. of the consumer. Any change in these things will violate the law. Point number 7. Divisibility. The law of DMU assumes that the commodity consumed by the consumer can be divided into smaller parts so that it can be acquired, that is purchased, in small quantities and consumed quickly. The law assumes that the commodity consumed by the consumer is divisible so that it can be acquired in small quantities for quick consumption. Point number 8. Homogeneity. The law of DMU assumes that all the units of the commodity consumed are uniform. They are same and identical in the term of shape, size, color, smell, etc. Example, if the commodity consumed is Cadbury Dairy Milk, then all the other units consumed also should be Cadbury Dairy Milk only. The consumer cannot change to Dairy Milk Silk. The law assumes that the units of commodity consumed